Day I Prayed by Candlelight, the book. And this is a book that I've been telling you all that will be launched on Saturday. So we have Sister Carla Kennedy in the studio. Carla, you want to bring greetings to us?
Yeah, greetings to everyone out there in Jamaica. Greetings to everyone out there. I want to send shouts out to Big Stone Records and Big Stone Productions for bringing me here. And I want to also thank my book company, Solomon and Makita Publishing, for bringing some great work, you know. So,
yes.
Thank you.
Nice. You went to the place last night where you came in yesterday and you went to the place that the book will be launched on Saturday.
Yes.
How did you find that place down there at West Street?
Well, when I got in there, I was going off the vibes in there, and the people was I mean they was receiving me real well. Yeah, so I like the location, I like the place, and the owner. You know, I wished him happy birthday and brought him a gift.
All right. Very, very good. All right, so we're going to talk a little more about the book later on, and we're really glad that you could make it to Jamaica, and we're glad that you could choose Jamaica as a place to launch the book. We're going to ask you to give us an idea what prompted the writing of the book, the stories that I see in it, and so on. And, you know, in self-publish.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, and so on. Some interesting stories that I managed to run through some of them last night.
He said
Give thanks. Not just an ordinary musician, he was a part of the resistance movement, part of the struggle for liberation and the ending of apartheid in South Africa. Recently past, I've read about him. He was very active along with people like Harry Belafonte and Miriam Makeba and many others that were fighting the struggle. Give us a little more music. You want to tell us the history of that?
Definitely so. The word maroon, the etymology comes from the Spanish word cimarron, meaning wild people. Now for the Maroons to have gotten that name embedded in them as a group of people, this must have happened years before the English came, because the English came to know these people as Maroons. Now, we have to understand that the African presence in the Caribbean and the Americas was long before Columbus came here in 1492.
Yes.
The Spaniards came.
And to confirm that, you know that they have writings to show that Columbus brought maize from Haiti to Spain.
Precisely so.
And you know, maize is grown in Africa.
In Africa.
So he brought maize from Haiti to Spain.
And what was even more convincing, Professor Ivan van Sertima went to Spain, and the gold that they found in the museum, he got permission to do a metallurgical study on the gold. Now, gold has a DNA just like how the blood markings have a DNA. And the DNA markings, the metallurgical markings of that gold that they found in the Spanish museum was consistent with gold mined in Africa, in Ghana. So they know that when Columbus came and saw the natives with these gold trinkets and he took it to Spain, and this is why they said they thought that a lot of gold was in Jamaica from those days.
Yes.
But the gold that were there were gold that was brought to Jamaica by the Africans years before 1492.
Yes, absolutely.
So to further substantiate the claim, The Maroons were here 160 years before the English came to Jamaica.
Yes. You know, what would be nice, I know we have said that Kojo did not understand English. You see, the problem is that when you have a paper of that magnitude, it's difficult to overlook its contents, as the Maroon Treaty. And also, there were several treaties whereby our leaders signed with an X.
Yes.
One that comes to mind is the treaty signed between the British and the Ndebele people in Zimbabwe, specifically when Lobenguela signed a treaty with them, giving them the land with the gold in Zimbabwe to Cecil Rhodes and Company.
Yes.
You know, and he signed with an X, and later on the argument was that he was drunk, you know, he didn't know what he did and all sort of things. And there were other treaties that later on, that the later generations seek to justify on the basis that they never know what language and so on.
And one of the things we have to look on also is that the average jargon used in law is not what the man in the street speak.
Yes.
So to interpret this, it takes someone with a certain amount of knowledge. Now, put this in how Kojo would know. And you have to remember, Kojo now being the conqueror, he defeated the British. The British surrendered. So how
In
could
other words,
the
the
one...
British came with the white flag.
Right. How
it wasn't
could...
Kojo who
It wasn't Kojo.
They came up with the
white flag.
So that's a form of submission.
Of course.
Yes.
So then, how could you know the one that was defeated, write all...
Draft the treaty.
Draft the treaty.
Something don't look right.
Something is not right.
But, you know, the white man is such that even when you try to get around it, because the classic example is Ethiopia. Ethiopia now, being more experienced as an independent country, what the Ethiopians did with the Italians after Adowa, the Ethiopians insisted that there must be two treaties. Same treaty, but there must be. So the Ethiopians said you must have one in Amharic, and the Italians said they want one in Italian. I said, no problem. And the Ethiopians also had their interpreters and so on. Look at the one, the Italian one, look at the Amharic one. And they were signed. All of them were signed, whether Italian or Amharic.
That the transliteration would mean the same at the end of the day.
All right.
And this is what you have to do.
Should. Now, despite that careful preparation by the Italians, knowing how trickery the white man is, the white man, the Italians still went and falsified their treaty later on and claimed that their treaty states that in time of war, the Ethiopians will call upon the Italians to assist them, and that the Italians will assist them, and such. Now, when you read the Ethiopian part of the treaty, or their aspect of the treaty, I don't want a version, it have nothing like that. Nothing like that tonight, you know. And so on. So even when you're astute and careful as the Ethiopians are to say, look, man, you know, this treaty is serious business, they still find ways and means. One of the things I heard Hugh Masekela said in an interview with the BBC in 2015, at the end of the interview, the lady Zana Mawawi or so who was interviewing, she said, if you were to sing a song, which song would you sing for Africa? And, you know, thing, and he was there. She said, no, what would you say? What would you want to say for Africa? You know what he said? He said, well, what I would say is this, that the borders that were formed in 1896, I want all those borders to disappear. No, 1896, we're talking the Berlin Conference.
Yes, the division of Africa.
Africa. And that's why I've respected that brother, you know. Wasn't an ordinary musician. Hear what he's referring to.
Yes.
And that interview is available. He says that, and that is his closing remarks on that interview, that the borders set up in 1896, in other words, those borders set up by the Europeans and the Americans at the Berlin Conference, which was Berlin in Germany, because the Germans came late to colonialism, you know, and they wanted to grab an
Right.
And Hugh Masekela says, if I'm to sing a song or if I'm to say something about that, this is what I would love to see. When those borders disappear, then we will start to be Africans.
Very much so.
Yes.
The treachery of these white people know no ends. And a simple thing we can look at, and we have to understand how we as black people interpret things. Now, this Bible that they brought to us and said, this is the Bible, the Word of God. And in it says, in Genesis chapter 2, verse 13, the river that runs through the land of Ethiopia, the Garden of Eden, runs all through the land of Ethiopia. Now, when you ask any of these Christian persons, where is the Garden of Eden? They say no one knows. But if the river runs through the Garden of Eden to water it and also run through the land of Ethiopia, that means the Garden of Eden in extrapolation is Ethiopia. And I've never heard any pastor and any pulpit say that. And from I've been going to school, I've been questioning this, and no one has ever said Ethiopia is the Garden of Eden as stated in the Bible. Now what I find the modern day versions of the Bible and interpretations are silently removing Ethiopia out of it, and they are saying the land of Cush. And some of the later versions are actually removing it out of Africa and putting it in Asia. This is the deception of these people. How can you trust the people that will do things like that?
Now, as you mentioned, the past and the Bible. I had mentioned earlier on to our listeners that I've been researching some hymns. This hymn is written by Mistress Alexander. She was born in Ireland. And we all sang it lustily in thing. All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small. Remember we sing that at school. And it's part of the hymnal that many children have to buy to sing at school. And all things bright and beautiful and so on. Each little flower that opens and so on. Now, the earlier hymn books have in that particular passage. The rich man in his castle, the poor man in his gate. God made them high and lowly and ordered their estate. Same woman write it. Now that is a verse in the same hymn. So the earlier hymn book have in that verse. The latter hymn books now, them leave out that verse. Because this is a racist, you know.
Very racist.
Saying, oh, God ordered us to be poor and lowly and all of that. And the rich man in his castle, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And we hang out by the gate. Now, the pastors must know this.
They learn it in college.
Yes.
Theological college. They learn these things.
And when I go through the same hymn book, people like John Wesley, Charles Wesley, you know, they formed the Methodist Church.
Yes.
And they had a conflict when it comes on to owning slaves. There are writings that I've seen where they are challenging the aspect of it and so on, but they were a part of the slavery gentry.
Yes, yes.
Now, why should our children be singing any song written by this woman Alexander or Bishop Wordsworth or any of them when they were clearly part of the slave society? And so I really want us to launch a campaign now with the Ministry of Education that such books ought not to be given to the children.
Must be removed. Must be removed.
We have enough songs now from enough of our artists that can compile a proper hymnal reflecting and coming from us, black people.
Very much so. Very much so.
God no give them no
No
special license.
authority. No authority whatsoever.
But we behave like that. You know, we order, we put it on the book list that they must buy these hymnal. And we don't check out and see when the songs were written, who write them, what type of person, you know.
Of course.
And we have our children echoing it. All things. You can imagine the rich man in his castle, the poor man at his gate. God made them high and lowly. Why this God a weirdy brethren?
Well, you know, these are things that substantiate the enslavement period. And you have to understand that these enslavers will not do anything to empower or enlighten us. They want us to remain in submission to them. And even the American Star-Spangled Banner. I am being told now that it is very racist if you heard the second stanza of it, where it speaks to the owning of slaves. So these are things that we have to understand, as the Honorable Marcus Garvey said. We as a people must define our own reality. We cannot accept what the white man has put there. Look at the dictionary. In the dictionary, the word black, and this is a document that is given to children to say, this is the meaning of all the words. Black means evil and malicious and wicked, and white means purity and everything that is beautiful. It can't be so. So, you know, I gave a lecture up at the university some years ago, and I encouraged the youth. I said, listen, the time has come when we must write our own dictionaries to reflect the reality of ourselves as a people. We have to do it. And we owe it to our children and children coming on.
Listen to these hymns now. How sweet the name of Jesus sounds in a believer's ear. It soothes his sorrow, heals his wounds, and drives away his fear. It makes the wounded spirit whole and calms the troubled breast. 'Tis manna to the hungry soul and to the weary rest. Written by John Newton, who later on said he was converted to become an abolitionist. But he had owned brothers and sisters.
Of course.
You know, and I'm saying, where is the reparations? Where is the apology before you put these things in our children's hands? You know, so I'd love for us to write as a start the Ministry of Education to say that you need to set up a department that examine all books, especially these religious books, and where it is obvious that we are singing the praises of our murderers,
Yes.
then they ought not to be put in our children's hands.
And, you know, some of these ministers pride themselves to say, we are an independent nation.
And we're a Christian nation.
And we're a Christian nation. And yet we still carry on the legacy of our enslavers.
Proudly. Not just carry it on.
Yes.
We do it so proud that, you know, that it's painful. Now, I had mentioned to you, and I had mentioned to our listeners that we're going to deal with it. You know, with regard to the president of Dominican Republic coming here, and he was bestowed with all sort of honors, Sister Carla. And the Dominican Republic have treated the Haitians very, very bad, brutally. Even Haitians, even persons born in Dominican Republic, they have deported to Haiti. Very bad. So I was one of those that were annoyed that they...
And Brother Miguel, you should highlight that it goes against the United Nations Human Rights Charter. Charter number 6 says every person has the right to a nationality, and the nationality is linked to the landmass where you were born.
Mm-hmm.
So it is going against the United Nations Charter of Human Rights.
And that guarantees that a person does not become stateless.
That is it.
So I wrote our Governor General, because it's him picture I seen in the paper and on the TV, I bestowed this honor on the President of Dominican Republic. And I wrote, lodging my protests, and I refer them to the book Bitter Sugar, you know, which this program is named after, and which came out of this exact situation of the Dominicans murdering the Haitian brothers and sisters. And I've referred to this brother, Million Bruburn, a Haitian cane cutter, who was shot in the back, 15 bullets from an M1 rifle. His crime was him stop work without pay. Now I refer all that to the Governor General in my letter. Now listen to the reply that they have replied to me now. Miguel Lorne, Chairman, Marcus Garvey, People's Political Party, 75 East Street, Kingston. Dear Mr. Lorne, on behalf of the Governor General, I acknowledge receipt of your letter, which was received in our office on January 15, 2018. Notice taken of your communication and comments regarding the Order of Excellence, which was conferred on the President of the Dominican Republic, Danilo Medina Sanchez. While the Governor General is the only person as de facto head of state who can confer the Order of Excellence, he acts only on the advice of the Prime Minister, who, after consultation with the leader of the opposition, takes a decision on behalf of the government and people of Jamaica. With very good wish, yours sincerely, Ambassador the Honorable Burchell Whiteman, Special Advisor to the Governor General. Burchell, sign it. Burchell Whiteman, OJ, Special Advisor to the Governor General. So he's saying to me now, Mr. Burchell, on behalf of the Governor General, that the Governor General is a figurehead.
Very much so.
All he's doing is acting on the
Rubber
advice
stamp
of the Prime Minister, who, after consulting the leader of the opposition. So can we afford the millions that we spend yearly to maintain not just the Governor General, but to maintain the setup up at King's House there?
Yes.
Can we continue now to be purely a figurehead? It's not better if you just abandon him and this whole charade, and instead of give our civil servants 3% to get them a higher percentage with that money, man?
Of course.
How can we know that you write to the Governor General and the Special Advisor, who is a former Minister of Education,
and a member of the opposing party?
Yes.
So it shows that they are both acting in concert to suppress the people.
Absolutely.
It is as simple. And I've always been saying that we are governed by an oligarchy. An oligarchy is where you have two political parties put there to, quote unquote, represent the people with opposing views, but they are not funded by themselves. They are not self-funded. They are funded by the monies from the private sector, who, when these private sector companies fund the political parties, whichever party wins, because they give equal amount to both parties, whichever party wins owes them a favor. And certain contracts have always gone to a lot of these companies that have given the highest money to the political party when they are contesting an election. So in truth and in fact, we really don't have an opposition. We have both parties working in concert to keep the people in an impoverished state. When you can have out of 2.6, 2.7 million people, 1.2 homeless people, and these are statistics put out by our Ministry of Housing. There are 753 settlements that they have defined as squatter settlements. 753. And we have 800,000 destitute squatters, and we have 400,000 legal squatters. The legal squatters are now termed as people who pay rent, because when you pay rent, you don't have a title. You are not in possession of a land title. You don't own land. And if we go back in history, these are only the people that could have voted in an election, landowners. So people who don't own land and don't have their names on a title, you're a squatter also, but you're a legal squatter.
Nice. We have a call on the line. Let us see what he has to say. Greetings and blessings. One love. Give thanks, my brother. Blessings. Yes, and we have our... Yes, and we have other persons here. We have the psalmist pass through, and we also have Firestone doing some filming. And we also have our sister here, Sister Carla. All right. Give thanks. Go ahead, my brother. Yes. Yes. And that is right up your streety? Yes. And we all agree on that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, my brother, let me just interject, come in here. You know, there's a World Economic Forum which is now going on in Davos, in Switzerland. In Switzerland, right? Yes, you are correct. Now, this conference going on, and one of the first persons to address the but they had a press conference there, was Christine Lagarde, the head of the IMF. And this is what she said. She says that there has been world growth, but the growth has to be more inclusive. In other words, what the statistics show is that 82% of the growth last year, 82%, went to 1% of people, and that 3.7 billion people got no growth. They didn't get no benefit from any growth. So half the world's population got no growth, benefit of no growth at all. These are the facts that are coming out of this World Economic Forum that is going on. So 1% get 80% of the wealth of the earth. So even the IMF, it looks so bad now that even the IMF has to be saying that, boy, although we have had some growth, if the growth is not inclusive, if it doesn't include grass people and poor people, and it coming like, you know, what we're actually doing is ensuring poverty.
Well, one of the things that we have to understand, wealth distribution in Jamaica, we have the widest disparity of wealth distribution. This has been put out by the United Nations last year. We have executive officers in companies earning $4 million per week, and you have an employee in the same company earning less than minimum wage, taking home less than minimum wage per week. It just cannot continue.
Yeah. Well, I don't have no statistics to say what is the number of the population, but let's look at how we can change the situation now, because clearly it's lopsided. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. No, we're not necessarily using their system. For example, a simple thing. We as black people must get back to building our own houses. This, we can easily build houses for half the price that they are selling houses for. These 10 and 12 million for a basic 3-bedroom unit, and so we can build. If we go back to ancient building using concrete and wood, we can build some nice fancy units for half that price, So that's one area that I think we can change it if we start to build our own houses. Because a lot of the people you see wandering around, even in Kingston, them family have land in the country. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but hold on. Whatever example you give me of black people disunity, I can give you wider, greater, and more examples of white people division. Yes, what I mean? So, right. They have, remember them have 7 years war, 30 years war, 100 years war between European countries. We have never had that. Yeah, we have, but I still don't think that that is our biggest problem. In other words, if we all have to go to Montego Bay and we have 10 vehicles set out, and along the way one vehicle break down, don't the occupants of that one is going to fit into other vehicles? And if another vehicle break down, but the whole idea is we'll eventually reach Montego Bay. So you might not have to like the color pants I wear, I might not have to like the color shoes you wear, but if we stick to the objectives and the goal, Yes. 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 From where? From Canada? Oh yes, I know. She's a poetess. She most especially IRFM function. She always come and recite poem. Very good sister and so on. Very good mother too, and a hard-working craft sister. She makes crafts and so on and so forth. Yes, I remember it. Yes.
My brother, there are two things. The Honorable Marcus Garvey said the greatest weapon used against the black man and the black woman is disorganization. His Imperial Majesty in 1963, when he visited Jamaica, beckoned us to organize and centralize ourselves. We have not been able to get to that point. But when you look at the divide and rule principle that impacts upon us as a people, religion, there are over 5,000 denominations and black people is dispersed across all these denominations, refusing to work together. Not at all. I am not excluding Rasta because we are affected also. We are affected also because of interpretation. And when you look at what is taking place on the political climate, you have the PNP and the JLP as the two dominant parties. And they have not really assisted the people. The state of Jamaica right now, as we see it, is predicated by the actions of both the PNP and JLP. No other party had the problem in leading the people. The Marcus Garvey People's Political Party has not been given the mandate to lead the people as yet. So we have to understand that the people are divided on many different fronts. One of the things we have to do to heal the people is through education. We have to let the people understand their role. What is your role and responsibilities? You know, the Jews, the Jews teach their children from age 12 with the bar mitzvah for the boys, their role and their responsibility as a Jew in life. The Chinese do it. You understand? So we have to come together as a people. And we react a lot of times when people say we are racist if you try to say we are doing things for black people. When they hear about the UNIA and membership in the UNIA is limited to only black people, African descent, people say we are racist. But in Jamaica we have a Chinese Benevolent Association. The only way you can be a member, the only way you can be a member is if you're a Chinese. Well, this is what we have to understand, our role and responsibilities to our community. Well, education is one of the key factors that we need. If you cannot disseminate, articulate, synthesize information on your own, then you're a slave to the person who can do it for you.
Yes. Yes.
Precisely.
Can I get you to Ethiopia? Next week. All right. Good.
Well, we have to look at how these persons are taught. Ralston I'll name one. I will name one. Ralston Hyman has put forward a different view on economics. I will differ because I've heard him lambast the IMF on a number of occasions. I am not a defender of the IMF.
Well, we mention it in the context of showing that it has brought pure misery, harm. Let us stick to Jamaica in front. No, it has done nothing but harm for Jamaica. And when you hear their leader asking now that there need to be inclusive growth. So when our Jamaica now telling us about growth and 5 in 4 and 2, we know it's just part of the trick. Growth is just for certain type of people. That's another area that we need to change up the banking system. The banking system, because laws have now been passed that force us to put our money in the bank, and yet no law is passed to force the bank to give us loans. So when we put our money in the bank, in other words, the workers' money in the bank is what is being used to lend to the employer and build up the employer. You see what I mean? Because the poor man is not getting any loan, and so on. So the banking system now, the laws which force us to put our money in the bank, we need to resist those laws. We used to save our money by partner. We have a banker, and that used to work well amongst us.
My brother, could I ask you one question? What organization are you a member of that is doing any work to uplift our people? No, you need, this thing is a numbers thing. And you have to, you have to understand, you listen now, you have to understand faith without works is dead. And you being a critique will not cut it. You need to be participatory in uplifting our people. So whether you want to start a school or you want to start a business and lead by example, but to be a constant critic, not cutting it with me.
In trucking, right?
Well, how will you change the system? Not by just talking, brother. Not by just talking. You need to be an active participant.
All right, but hold on, my brother. Hold on now. No, wait now, my brother. Wait now, hold on now, my brother. All that is being said now, is that true, certain amount of criticism and all of that is good. But I'm certain you will agree that to bring about the type of change of which you speak, it will need working with others to make that change that is necessary for the entire good of the country. I'm certain you'll agree with that. No, but let us say he's part of Organization Z. You know. Well, all right, but let us say you are of the view that some of these organizations have not brought in a change. But this is why now we need those organizations need strengthened by brothers like yourself, because you sound like an independent-minded brother. So you're in a position that you can probably help, and other persons that are listening that we think might have certain talent and skills to strengthen these organizations to make them be able to overthrow the oligarchy. Yeah. Hold on. Wait, my brother. I don't think anyone disagree with that. No one disagree with that, and that's a big start. But what we're saying is, individually you own things and so on. But what we're talking about in the collective changes that we want, you know, in other words, sometimes we ourselves have to speak for those who might not be in a position to speak. We might have to think. So when we talk about the bank, there might be many individuals who probably have enough assets to borrow from the bank. But generally, the people who need that head start that push start are the persons that the banks are not assisting and lending them the money. So that's all we are saying, that collectively now we need to find a way to ensure that we can bring about the change that you want, I want, Brother Hero want, and many of our listeners want. Mhm. Yes. Especially land. All right, my brother, I give thanks for the contribution. You know, and yes. Who? No, I'm saying that there are some people who blame the Haitians because they practice voodoo. Yes, but my brother, if you also Vietnam, if you also heard I said whatever the Haitians do, whatever they do, it can't reach what Bush, Blair, Clinton, Obama have done. So hold on now. So if you're talking about a God who is distributing judgment, who is recriminating against people and so on, then I think that that God needs to give out his first justice for those who have caused so much murder and harm upon the planet. Vietnam man, you don't agree with that? Yes. You mean the present people that are there? Yes, and many people would agree with you, yes. In other words, Benjo can tell you that there's nothing near white Jews. Why don't the children of Africans? Or you say Al-Kabulan then, Al-Kabulan, Ethiopian, or Nubian, or Sudanese, all those are original African names. Yes. All right, my brother, we have to run now here. Give thanks every time. Nice. And for those, anyone else who want to join and make a contribution, the numbers to call 906-0955, 906-5801. That's on the Lime numbers. Again, I repeat, 906-0955, 906-5801. And then on the digital line now we have 279-8473 and 279-8474. You can also take us in on the World Wide Web. Our website is bessfm.com. Give thanks. Nice. Yes. Greetings and blessings. Yes. Greetings, Rasai. Yes. Yes, my brother. Yes. You know, we have been trying to get Brother Joseph ever since you gave us the number. We eventually got the number you gave us was really the Nyabingi house number. And we got through to Sister Ijania. And she emailed us and gave us Brother Joseph's cell number. And we have been trying to reach him. In fact, we have reached him off air. But, right, because we were planning to call him tonight at 9:30. Which is 9:30 is 5:30 in Ethiopia. That's my thinking. But it's not going to work. We're having a little technical problem here too. So again, I'm going to use during the course of this week to see if I can solve it. And hopefully it's caught. But we're not going to give up. For the unity of Africa politically. Well, you see, colonialism can't be there when we have our political unity. And political unity means having a government. Because Kwame Nkrumah advocated that Ethiopia is the rightful place that the headquarters for an African government ought to be. Yes, so imagine if those plans from 1960s was in place now. You think because we and China, you know, at one point, we and China was at the same level, you know, economically. And now look, we are hang on past China's curtail. Yes.
Carla want to join the conversation.
Yes, yes. Yes, hold a little aside, but there's a caller who wants to join us in this conversation regarding Shashamane and so on. Greetings and blessings that the person join us, yes? Yeah, you just hold on there aside, but I make you the person have to say. Okay, I see. All right, you want to just hold a little then and call back in about 5 minutes? All right. Couldn't the Ayabingi House and I write a letter to the Minister of Foreign Affairs asking for a meeting? Today is Thursday, asking for a meeting sometime next week because this is a matter of urgency. Yes.
This should have been brought to the attention of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, day one. And our Minister of Foreign Affairs should make the necessary recommendations, whatever it is, travel arrangements on behalf of your citizen. This is your citizen, and this is just reinforcing the point that these politicians are not there in the interest of the people. The people vote and give them the power as their representatives. And they turn their back on their people in the times of need.
Yes. Yes. Yes, greetings and blessings. We have another call on the line. Yes. Yes, yes. And give thanks. You had called earlier on? All right, blessings. Oh, yes. The Moors that were in Spain. Yes, conquered Spain. Yes, yes. All right. I thank you, my brother. Blessings. Give thanks. Give thanks. Nice.
Well,
nice,
the
nice.
Moors actually lived in Spain for over 700 years.
Yes.
They went in year 700, and when they lost power in year 1400, I think about 90, that time some of these were the ones that actually built the first university in Spain.
Yes.
The University of Salamanca was built by them. And all the teachers within the university were the Moors.
Yes. And we should
People
let-
from Mali.
And we should let people know that the Moors were the black people. They were Muslims, but they were black people.
Yes.
From North Africa.
North Africa.
Yes. 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 Greetings and blessings. One love, blessings, my sister. You know, there are persons who look forward to your call coming in. This evening when I was on my way, a brother says, I'll be listening out to what Sister Walletta has to say with regards to the Ethiopia World Federation. So I said, okay, well, please listen out, and so on. Sam, you have to say something before you leave.
Yes, can want to join.
Yes, yes. All right, make Sister Walletta speak and then you'll speak. Yes, go ahead, Sister Walletta. What glad tidings you bring us now? Advise him with consultation. Time for the man pack up and go.
Not even that alone, when you call the things out, you can't even get to speak to the man. You have to go to who will let him roll and he still now come talk to anyone on phone. Who is he?
I don't know the one we him talk to. I don't know the one we him come talk to. Most of the time you cannot get through on the line either.
I believe you know, Brother Miguel, it's sad to say tonight, but I'm going to see the truth. You know, it might take a serious revolution to free I and I run at this place here, come out of the hands of people.
Well, we are hoping that good sense will prevail because we are intellectuals. And as intellectuals, we are putting forth our position in a thematic and logical manner. And we are hoping that at some point good sense will prevail. That if they keep pushing us this way, that one day we're going to say enough is enough. We cannot keep having a baggage like a governor general using up taxpayers' money as a figurehead, wasting our time. We cannot have no more of that.
Each time we go, I want to put two little quick announcements, Brother Miguel. Coming up the 21st of April here, we have in our position tickets for a banquet to be held at the Haile Selassie High School, an ancient going home banquet, ancient from the EWF. We're trying to raise fundraising for them to send a few of them home to Ethiopia, you know? That's where they heart desire. So we don't want to see them punishing.
All right, so where this banquet going to be?
At Haile Selassie High School from in the morning till sometime way down in the evening hours. We'll be having chanting. And
Price of the ticket?
The price for the ticket is $1,000